This is Love Marlene 411, and welcome to today's podcast and conversation. We're talking about self awareness, self love, and loving yourself as you are. So, this is one that I definitely wanted to come on with my natural hair and my natural self. And the same thing, I always want to talk about body positivity, and looking at yourself, especially as we age. If we ever go through anything in life, you're not going to look like you looked when you are 18 years old. You're going to not only look different, you're going to feel different, you're going to slow down, you're not going to be the same, but that shouldn't take away from how you look at yourself. How do you perceive yourself? And do you look at yourself and love yourself for the person that you are now? We live in a society where everything is pumped into you always feeling like you got to upgrade and you got to cut yourself, like get plastic surgery or do some of those things, but people don't embrace that I get wrinkles on my face because I smiled a lot. You get wrinkles because you've lived, and it's all about your perspective. And I think most people don't have the right perspective when it comes to aging and life. As we get older, we're going to wrinkle. You're going to gain weight. You're going to look different. Things are going to be different for you. Hey, Sirius, how are you doing? Welcome. We're not going to look the same way that we did when we were 18, 20, 25, 30, and onward, right, as we age. But we should love ourselves as we are. And I'm not saying to let yourself go and to not take care of yourself. But I mean, as long as you're doing the best that you can to take care of yourself, you're trying to stay healthy, maintain a healthy weight. Hi, TTV. How are you doing? Yes, I'm doing amazingly well myself too, Sirius. Thank you so much. This conversation really is one that I've been wanting to have for a while, about looking at yourself as you are and loving yourself for who you are and for what you are, okay? And that's one thing that I think that is so amazing. Thank you so much, Sirius. It's important for us to love ourselves and to have positivity about ourselves, and looking at ourselves and saying, I'm beautiful, I'm smart, I'm intelligent, I'm capable. But I have gotten older, and with getting older, sometimes you're going to get a little rounder. You may get some age spots. You may get a kangaroo pouch, or a pot belly. But that's one of the things about aging. And sometimes people want a quick fix. They're quick to go under the knife. They're quick to feel like you gotta nip and tuck and fix this and cut that, and and they're quick to do some of these and tighten everything up. But whatever happened to aging gracefully and letting yourself get older and to appreciate what you've been through? For me, like the women who have children got stretch marks, you have the stretch marks because you've had children. That's something to be proud of. The ones that have some age spots, that means you've had some living. I believe everything is about the way you look at yourself, and not letting the outside tell you how you should think about yourself, how you should love yourself, how you should respect yourself. Loving yourself is a beautiful thing. And don't let the outside, don't let other people, don't let social media, don't let the entertainment world, don't let a person you're dating, your relatives, don't let anybody tell you how you should feel about yourself. This is where self-love comes in. This is where self-respect comes in, and this is being satisfied with the person that you are in here. Because everybody, as you age, you're going to change. Your body is going to change. Your ability, how fast you can move, will change. But one thing that will never change, or should never change, is how much you love yourself. As you get older, you're going to slow down. Okay? Hey, Nate, how are you doing? You're going to be different. No, things are not going to be the same as we age, and it does take learning to be patient with yourself. And that's important. Be patient with yourself. Know that you're not going to look how you looked when you were a teenager, in your 20s, in your 30s, in your 40s, in your 50s. You just got to be happy with the person that you are in here, even when your outside may slow down, your outside may sag, but having this, even in a world that really, social media, the entertainment world, really doesn't celebrate aging and being happy with who you are, with how you look. And I always want to promote that on this channel, especially because this channel is about self-love, self-respect, self-awareness, and not letting society tell you how you should look. Everybody now, they want to tighten this and get more of this and get more, it's about getting a BBL and this and tighten this and shortcuts. How about exercising and taking care of yourself? How about eating a healthy diet so that you can maintain it? People love to have the shortcuts, but what about taking care of yourself first, mentally, taking care of your physical body, trying to have those stress-free techniques and taking care of yourself so that you can maintain, right? A lot of people, they don't do those things. People want an easy thing, and I just want to talk about celebrating getting older. A lot of people don't celebrate. Every year that I get older is a year more that I have more knowledge. It's a year I've had enough courage. I've learned how to make better choices. I've learned to love myself more. And I have people in my life that support me for who I am. And really, that's the main reason I wanted to do this live stream, to say that you have to put time into yourself, and you gotta respect yourself and understand that I'm not gonna be how I was a few years ago, and that's okay. Especially, ladies getting older, and your hair is not the same, your skin is not the same, your body is not the same. It's going to change as you age. And the same thing for the guys. Your body's not going to be the same. You're not going to look the same. And also, you shouldn't be thinking the same. Hi, Shay. How are you doing again? You're not going to think the same. You should not be doing what you were doing when you were 18, 21, 30. As you get older, you need to be thinking better. You need to be thinking deeper, making wiser choices, learning how to appreciate sitting down and appreciating what you do have, and not really worrying about what you don't have, and not trying to be something that you're not. I love to see a woman or a man that can just, look classy. And I think that in a society where people are trying to be younger than, what they are, in their dress, I see all the time mothers and daughters dressing the same. And it's just me. I'm not saying that for anybody else, but for me, I don't agree with that. I think as a woman who is of a particular age, I think that I'm grown, I'm mature, so there's some things that I need to cover up so that I could be a role model and an example. And the same thing for the guys. You need to show the younger men, this is how you dress when you get older. You get classy, you become refined, and you respect yourself, Yes, that's right, Shay. Hi, K9. How are you doing? Welcome. That's my personal opinion. You guys can always take it or leave it. But I think as we get older, we need to get more classy. We need to be the role models and the examples. That is how you age. That is how you show people this is what you do. When you get older, you sit back, you think, you reflect, you teach, you show by your life how you should be when you get older. You don't, sometimes you look at a mother and a daughter and you can't tell who is the mother and who is the daughter. And I don't mean by the mindset or anything. I mean by the attitude. There's a certain amount of class that you should carry as you get older. It's the respect, it's the confidence, and there's certain things that you just have to move different because you're older, and you're gonna move slower. You're gonna take time. Yes, I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna not just respond to things right away. I'm gonna see, is this a good decision for me? Maybe I need to meditate on this for a little bit. Maybe I need to pray over this for a little bit. See, I know when I was younger, it was always about, right, oh yeah, I'll do that. And then later on, you would regret that. Now I have to say, let me think about that. Or I'll get back to you. I'm not sure, or maybe. And that is one of the best gifts that we can give to ourselves, is not responding so quickly. Really paying attention to see, do you really want to date this person? And how do you show up as a woman or as a man? People focus a lot on the person that they're dating. Oh, they're not a bad person. They have this and they don't have that. But really, are you a person who deserves to be dated? That's a very important conversation that I think me and Miss Nexie are going to have on Thursday, but I'll leave that part right there. But a lot of people, they focus on the person they're dating, but they don't really focus in on themselves. So we'll get into more of that on Thursday. But I honestly wanted to say to everybody, to as you get older, what are some of the things that you are doing that's different than when you were younger? I know when I was younger, I used to allow other people to negatively impact me so easily. Somebody would say something and I was in my feelings, rah, 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 and how could you do that, and arguing. But now as I'm aging, I just sit back and I let people make a fool of themselves. I let people think what they want to think about me. I let the people who don't like me, you're free. Okay. You don't like me? Cool. You don't want to be around me? Cool. You want to be disrespectful? Cut you off. It's cool. See, I learned as I'm aging, I don't have to explain myself. I don't have to let you stay in my life. That's a privilege. And people think sometimes that because you know them for a while, that's a guaranteed spot. Oh, I'm your sibling, or I'm your parent, and I'm your cousin, I'm your this, I'm your friend, I'm your wife, I'm your husband. That does not automatically guarantee you a space in my life. You got to keep it going. You got to deserve. You got to work to have that space in my life. That's something that I've learned as I've gotten older. Hi, Miss Lynn. How are you doing? Welcome back. Thank you so much for supporting me. I hope you're doing well. That's something as I'm aging that I'm learning, that people don't automatically get a spot in my life. You don't automatically get a spot in my heart. You're not automatically going to get my trust. I'm not automatically going to respect you. I'm not automatically going to believe everything that you say to me. Just because you say it, it doesn't mean I'm going to believe it. First, I have to sit with that for a little bit. And then I have to look at it, see how you move. And be like, how you're talking is not how you're walking, And as I'm getting older, I'm learning that too. The people in my life, they can't just walk just talk the talk, they got to walk the walk. And that goes with me too. I only expect things from others that I expect from myself. I expect honesty, so I'm honest. I expect for people to show up for me because I show up for other people too. So as we age, we need to be shifting our standards and not stay how we were maybe when we were younger. Just doing things for people, like feeling like we have to. I have to, I must, because I'm their mother or I'm their sister, I'm their friend, I'm their spouse, I'm this person. Whatever title you have in people's life, it doesn't mean they deserve to keep you always. See, relationships is about what is that other person doing to keep you. And I think that's what a lot of people focus on, getting a relationship, getting a friendship, getting a husband, getting a wife, getting this person, that person in their life, but there is no maintenance. They're not doing anything to maintain the relationship. They're not spending quality time with each other. They're not learning, what does this person want, and how are they growing, and what am I doing to be able to keep this person in a relationship. So I think that's one of the things, is that people stay stagnant in their life, so they don't understand why other people are requiring more. And that is one of the things that I have been doing as I'm aging. My requirements are definitely going up. You know, what maybe I used to allow, maybe what I used to do, I don't do anymore, because, with knowledge comes power. And when you become empowered, I'm not going to let you talk to me any type of way. And I'm going to recognize, I'm going to pay attention to that discernment. I don't like how you feel. And I am quick now, when my spirit says something's off with them, I don't need to ask myself why. Like when I was younger, I used to say, oh, maybe that's me. It's just me, right? No, 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 no. When that energy is off with a person, when you discern that something isn't right about a person, run. You don't need to know why. You don't need to, all this stuff, trying to figure out, asking them, but you said this. And if a person is not consistent with you, then that means it's not just that thing. There's many things that they're not being consistent, because if a person is dishonest about one thing, they're going to be dishonest about many things. So that's something that I have learned as I'm aging, is pay attention to the energy. And another one is paying attention to how you feel. If a person has no problem disrespecting you, if a person has no problem with poor behavior, you need to have a problem with it. Other people are free to do what they want, but also, just like they have a choice to act the way they act, their behavior, you have the right to cut people off. You have a right to say, no, no, no. You have a right to let people go out of your life. And as I'm aging, I'm learning that it's not about a person being your relative, or people say, that's my family, and letting that be a pass. Don't let saying person is your family be a pass for disrespect. Don't let people saying that's my kids and giving people the right to trample all over your feelings and to no-show and disrespect you and backstab you and take advantage of you and use you and take your money and do all kinds of things. See, as we age and we know how we are feeling, we know how we're being treated, but do you keep taking it? See, as we age, before you could say you didn't know, okay? I didn't know better. And I came from that too. So a lot of things that happened to me, and I didn't know that I had the right to not put up with it. I didn't know I had the right to not answer those phone calls. I had the right to not give my money away. I had the right to block people. I had the right to not show up to things that I didn't want to show up for. We all have that right. And as we age, we need to be making better decisions, not only for ourselves, but showing the next generation a good example. Especially if you have kids, grandkids, your aunt, your uncle, your brother. If you have somebody younger looking at you, which almost everybody does, you need to see them. They need to see you saying, mm-mm, you're not going to talk to me that way. They need to see you that you're making changes in your life. You're being healthier. They need to see you not just talking about eating better, but are you eating better, so that the younger people say, I need to eat better too. We can't say one thing and do another, and then not expect to get backlash. We don't want to be hypocrites. We don't want to be the individuals that say one thing and do another. We want to do better. And as I'm aging, I'm not just talking about doing better. I'm the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in my action. Hey Delvin, how are you doing? Are you out of work now? um, the proof now is in my actions, right? The proof is in how do I treat myself. The proof is how do I allow people to treat me. The proof is what kind of relationships do you have, because it's very telling. Just like the saying goes, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. And I'm finding that as I age, my friendships I could count it on one hand, because people love to call everybody their friend. But if you don't have somebody who can bail you out, who can help you out, who can pray for you, who can support you and encourage you when you're at your lowest point, you don't have friends. That's the easy thing. People want to say that's their friends and that's their loved ones. But at the end of the day, where is the proof of their love? Where is the proof of the friendship? So at my age, as I like to say, at my big age, I'm not calling everybody my friend anymore. It's a difference. That's an associate. That's a relative, but that's definitely not my family, and that's definitely not my friend. Okay? So I think everything in this life is about how you are choosing to react to people's actions. That should be changing as you age. I remember when I was younger and somebody would say something to me and I was ready to attack. I was ready to attack, cuss them out. I felt like I was in my right. And as I get older, as I mature, as I become more knowledgeable, more aware of my worth and value, I had to understand that it's not worth it. It's You can't convince somebody of your value if they don't have value within themselves. It took me some time for me to really get that. You're wasting your effort. You're the one that looks foolish because they're not going to change. And I no longer try to save and rescue people. Okay? I used to always be like trying to convince everybody to think how I think. And I had to let that control part of me go, that, okay, I have the right to think what I think. I have the right to have my value system, and so do they. And I let myself not be so stressed out. I calmed down. I had to learn to chill out. Delvin says, same here. I had to cool out myself. Yes, I most definitely had an anger problem. And my anger was based on unresolved issues. And when I confronted my issues, I healed. And a big part of letting myself mature as I age was giving myself the permission to say, you know what? You deserve to heal from the past, what somebody said, what other people did to you. Forgiveness is a big part of when you age. It's not only forgiving other people, but it's forgiving yourself. And I didn't understand what a big part of my life forgiveness really was. Hi, Natalie. How are you doing? Good evening. I had no idea how much forgiveness was a major part of my life until I forgave so much people in my life. Forgave my parents, forgave my siblings, forgave people who were in my life, forgive myself from having the expectation, because that's a big deal too. We have to stop expecting for people to be us. That was a major issue that I would have, and I was always let down because nobody can be us. We have to stop expecting for people to love like we love, or friend like we friend, or show up like we show up. We have to let people be themselves, and then we have to determine as mature women and men, do I want that as part of my life or no? And if it's no, it's cool. It's cool. You know, let them be, cut them off, block them, or sometimes that's just not the person, that's not your vibe. That's not what you want to associate yourself with. That's not a person that is, you know, on your wavelength. That's not somebody who is empowered. And I had to learn that part, is that if you want to maintain and be empowered and grow and be prosperous and be successful, have peace in your life, you got to first empower yourself and make sure you only keep people in your close circle that are also empowered. Because it doesn't matter how much you try to empower other people, if they don't want to empower, if they don't want to learn, if they don't want to grow, if they don't want to do better, you got to let them be. You gotta let them be, let them be, let them be, and you gotta move on and let yourself be happy. I'm telling you, that changed my life, and it changed my health too, because I was carrying so much pain in my heart and in my head, disappointments, feeling disappointed, feeling backstabbed, feeling not supported. But not everybody wants to support us. And as we age, we got to learn that not everybody who claims to be on our side wants to be on our side, actually cares about us. But we got to care about ourselves enough. You got to respect yourself. And until you respect yourself, until you forgive yourself, you're never going to be happy. And I had to learn, and I'm sure many of my loved ones over here have had to learn how to love themselves. What do I want? You know, what is my love language? What do I need in order to be happy? Instead of expecting it, as I'm aging, I'm learning to communicate what I want, not assuming because somebody is this person or that person and they've known me for all these years. Sometimes we assume, and we assume wrong. We think people know how to love us. We think people know that what they've said or done irritates us. But if you don't inform people and let them know, they're going to keep hurting you. But also at the same time, after you warn them, this is what I don't like, and can you stop this and this? And if they don't, now after they know, now the power is in your hand. Cut them off. Okay? Because once you tell people what you deserve and what you want, and if they can't give you that, then you need to release them so that you can find the people who will. Yeah, that's so important. Make sure you have people who do pour into you, who do fill up your cup, who do respect your boundaries, who do support you. Yes. Yeah, I had to learn as I grow. Yes. Draw a line. You got to draw a line in the sand and be like, I'm not growing here. You know, being in a romantic relationship for many years, that I was not growing in the relationship. No matter how many times I would say, this is what I need, sometimes people just can't provide that for you because they don't know how, they don't care, or they don't want to. Sometimes it's one or combination of all. Sometimes people don't care about you like you care about them. And that right there is a hard pill to swallow. But as we age, we have to realize that not everybody wants to love us. Not everybody wants to be there. Not everybody wants to support. And not everybody is who they claim to be. But as we age and we see the mask come off and we see a person when it's revealed, okay, they say this, but this is what they really do. So they're not who they say they are. So kindly remove them, block them, stop going around them. We have the power of free choice. We have the power of free will. We all can choose what we want to do. We can choose what we want to listen to. We can choose who we allow in our life. We can choose how we feel about ourselves. And that was something, as I'm aging, I had to learn that it wasn't anybody's responsibility to love me. That's my job. It's not your husband, wife, boyfriend, or girlfriend's responsibility to love you. That's your responsibility. And what are you doing to love yourself? What are you doing in real time to take care of your mental, your emotional, your spiritual, your physical? What are you doing? See, and that takes work. But what other people want is they want other people to do everything for them. And then when they don't get it, then they're discouraged, they're upset, they're this, they're that. They're all in their feelings. When you are expecting for a man or a woman to fill a void in your life, that's your responsibility to fill that void. It's your responsibility to be your own friend. And as I've aged, I've learned that I gotta friend myself. I gotta spend time with myself. I have to spend time finding out what I want. And this is the part of aging that nobody taught me. As I've aged, I had to learn that what I wanted when I was a teenager to my 20s has changed now. So we're not going to want the same things, and you shouldn't. The things that you wanted 10, 15, 20 or more years ago, you shouldn't want today. You should be growing. You should be becoming empowered. You should, be having an enriched life. You should be achieving some personal growth. You should be pushing past those walls, pushing past your fears, and putting yourself in the position to do better. Treat yourself better, and not just saying, this is who I am. And that's what a lot of people do when they get older. They become stubborn, they get set in their ways, and they don't try. And for me, that's not good enough. Because I've had people in my life that are older, and this is the way I am. Well, that don't mean I have to take it. And you don't have to take people's attitude. You don't have to take people's disrespect. It does not matter who they are. It doesn't matter. Sometimes people think that they owe you a favor because they've done whatever for you, okay? Yes, you've done things for me, and I've said I appreciate what you have done in the past, but that doesn't give you a pass to disrespect me for the rest of my life. You're not going to hold that over my head. No, I don't allow those things anymore. Don't, okay? Yes, action is more than words. Love is an action word. And if people don't want to act right, you need to remove yourself from their life, okay? So that's all. That's all for this topic today. Learning to love yourself as you grow. As you age, as you mature, you should be actively working on becoming a better communicator, learning how to love yourself, learning how to show up for yourself and say, I'm really struggling mentally, and giving yourself a break. That used to be so difficult for me to take a break and say, I just need some time for myself. Hi, John. How are you doing? Welcome. It took me a long time in my life to feel like, oh my goodness, I want to do something for myself. And other people who are dysfunctional and manipulative and very toxic will make you feel guilty to spend time with yourself. Because what it is they don't want you to spend time on yourself, because they want all your time. They want all your money. They're very selfish. They want everything from you. They want to take everything from you because they're leeches. They're manipulators. But as we get older, we need to identify that and cut it off and stop allowing it. and stop going around it. We are the ones that have to be in control of our life. This channel is all about trauma healing, okay? And I've been through many things in my life. I've talked about some of them, but more and more every week we're going to start talking more and more about some meatier topics on trauma healing. John says, yes, it's hard though. It is. It's very hard to let ourselves go from toxic individuals in our life. But when we know better, then we do better. Do the best that you can. And if you realize that people are just using you, what I had to do is I slowly started backing away until I just disappeared. I used to always be the person to text and to call and to text and to call and to show up and to buy gifts and to do this and to do that. But you're not getting the same thing reciprocated. Reciprocation is very important in healthy relationships. That's what this channel is about, having healthy relationship, not only with yourself, but having healthy relationships with other people. And I had to learn as I've aged that not everybody is healthy. Some people have a very toxic mindset, very controlling. They have a very bad attitude. They're very selfish. And as I've aged, I had to understand that it was okay for me to choose myself. And it didn't make me selfish to choose myself. It means that I love myself. It means I know boundaries. It means I know when I'm being taken advantage of. And the same thing for all of you loved ones. Identify who are the weakest links and remove yourself from those people. It's one of the best things in my life when I let go of a very toxic romantic relationship. It's one of the best things that ever happened to me when I let go of some of my siblings. And it's not that I don't love them, but I had to learn as I've aged a balanced view. You can love people, but you can't love them more than you love yourself. You can't let people run over you like a doormat. You can't let people keep disrespecting you and you keep taking it, because people will keep doing what you allow. And if you allow them to disrespect you, of course they're going to keep coming back. Of course they're going to keep taking it, because you're not setting any boundaries, because you haven't cut it off. Because you keep taking it, they're going to keep doing it. But as we age, what do, loved ones? We become wiser. We stand up for ourselves. We become more confident. We don't allow disrespect. We forgive ourselves. We forgive other people, and we let the ones that do not fit well in our life. That's one of the best gifts that you can ever give yourself, is letting go of toxic people. And I say that, I love you, but not at the cost of losing myself, not at the cost of losing everything that I have, not at the cost of, I feel like I have to tell all of my business to you. No. That's not love, that's toxicity. And as we age, we have to identify those toxic people, and you just stop associating with them. It's like, sometimes it's hard to let go. I shouldn't say something, all the time. It's hard for us to let them go, but it's the best thing that you can ever do. What I've done is I just stop answering. When they text me, I don't even respond to them, especially the ones that, hey, what are you doing? You know what's going to come next. Can you do X, Y, and Z for me? Hey, can I borrow some money? When they don't even answer, block them. Stop going around them. Stop talking to them. Cut yourself off from them. And once you when you cut yourself off from them, they're just going to find somebody else. The reason people keep coming back in your life and using you is because you allow it. Now, when I had to swallow that hard pill as an adult that has matured, this keeps happening to me because I allow their foolishness. This keeps happening to me because I keep giving them money. This keeps happening to me because I keep allowing them to do X, Y, and Z to me. So it's up to us when we say no more, I'm not going to take it, and literally cut them off, literally block them, because we're enough, you know? You're enough, ladies. So are you, gentlemen. You're enough, and we're worthy. And because we're worthy and we're working on having a healthy relationship with ourselves, we're not going to allow people to keep traumatizing us, disrespecting us, no showing, backstabbing, doing all kinds of things that we've informed them. You've had the conversations. Now it's time for action. So we'll leave that there, and we're going to come back. What's today? Monday. We're going to try to come back on Wednesday for another topic, maybe about, it's going to be a little bit earlier on Wednesday. Maybe Wednesday I'm going to do a topic at, I want to say 5 p.m. 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or maybe 5:15, 5:30, something like that. But we'll do a topic on Wednesday about the next part of this, because we need to have more conversations on how to have healthy relationships, and it's very broad. There's many, many things that we need to be doing to advocate for ourselves so that we can be empowered, so we can love ourselves the way that we deserve to, okay? So just start with today, and let's go through and let's write a list about the people who maybe have not shown up. Go through your phone list. Who hasn't called me? Who doesn't check on me? Who only checks on me when they want something? And then you need to make a decision. What am I going to do? What's my exit plan going to be? Okay? Sometimes the exit plan is just you not responding. Sometimes the exit plan is blocking. Sometimes the exit plan is just you having a conversation and saying, you know, I love you, but this relationship is just not working. I'm telling you, you're going to feel better and you're going to get stronger, and you will be more empowered if you give yourself the freedom to let go of people that you've been holding on to. They've been holding on to you, and it's time for you to send them back and make them handle their own business. Okay, I'll see you guys on the next one. This is Love Marlene 411. If you're new here, hit that like, subscribe to this channel. I do lives on Mondays, Wednesdays, and on Thursdays. Me and my co-host, Miss Nexie, we do the sip and chat. So I look forward to all of those this week. I hope you guys have a great day, and check out some other videos and live streams that I have on my channel. There's many, many playlists, many videos on this channel about healthy mindset. You know, detoxing, and on the Sip and Chat, me and Miss Nexie, we talk about so much different topics. So there's a plethora of of videos and lives for you to choose from. So run a girl's playlist, watch some more videos. I know you guys will enjoy the content over here. And turn on your notification bell, set it to all so you won't miss when I go live or I upload a video. All right, everybody have a great rest of your day. And I won't be live over here tomorrow, but Wednesday we'll be back. Okay? This is Love Marlene 411, and you know what I say over here. When we work on the love that we have for ourselves, it trickles down. When you love yourself and you're in a healthy space, you're only going to choose healthy people in your life, and you drop those seeds of hope and empowerment on other people. Okay, I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, guys. Shout out to my mods. Please go by and check out their channel, Delvin, Lynn's Life Lessons, and also shout out to my awesome content, awesome mod, Sirius S. A Virgo from Georgia, and Nate the Great Podcast. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for your support, everybody. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys back on Wednesday. Peace. Oh, I forgot. And join channel membership if you want to get exclusive content. It starts at 99 cents.